Hey everybody, a lot of couples are shocked to find out that having a baby puts stress on their marriage, and oh boy does it ever, right? Well, Jessica Hartshorn from American Baby Magazine is here today with tips on baby-proofing your marriage. Great to have you back.
Thanks, Julie.
You know, this is something I had I didn't prepare for this. I didn't realize that how much it was going to change after you had a baby, but going from being a couple to being parents really kind of can put a strain on your marriage. Is that common for most couples?
Oh, absolutely. It happens to everyone. And unfortunately, a lot of people go into parenthood thinking this will bring us closer, and it does in a way because you've created a new person together. You're raising a new person together.
That's what I was expecting, right?
Right, but in between those really beautiful moments, there's a lot of management. You know, you're really doing household management, and you're raising a family, and it requires so much more work than you anticipated. And everyone feels burdened. I think that's the hardest part, is he feels like he's doing so much work and you feel like you're doing more work than you can possibly do, and you both begin to resent each other, and you really have to try and cut that off. And
yeah, why? Why does reality hit so hard at that point?
I think, you know, you're just burdened with more responsibilities than you've ever had before. And finances become a big thing because you've got a lot of extra expenses, and sometimes only one parent is working and the other is not. And the parent who's working feels burdened by the financial responsibility. The parent who's not working feels
like they're doing everything.
Right, doing everything at home and yet no control of the money. So that's the number one spot. Finances sort of explode, right?
So let's go back to each partner feeling like they're contributing the most. What do you do about that to show you're not doing everything, I'm doing some too?
You can sit down and make a list of, you know, here is what I am responsible for. And if you are at home, you know, you're responsible for their clothes, their diapers, getting them, you know, dressed and fed, and the cleaning and the laundry. I mean, the laundry situation gets out of control, right?
It's constant.
Yeah. And just the sort of the management of this little person takes a lot. And the person who's working can list, you know, what they're doing. You know, they're bringing in the paycheck, of course, but maybe they're also paying the bills. You know, who's doing that? Who's doing garbage? Who's doing the lawn? Who's taking care of, you know, college savings? There's so many things. Kind of make a list and just figure out like who's taking the lead on any given thing, and respect each other.
That's a good idea.
Exactly, for what each other's contributing and bringing to the table, because you both are working really hard. And that's another thing, is to really just show appreciation for anything your spouse is doing, because so often all that sticks in your head is, I can't believe he didn't bring the garbage out last night. But maybe he's doing a lot of other things, and it helps to be like, I'm so glad that you took that extra project at work, because that money's really helped.
Right.
Or, you know, thank
Recognize
you so much
what
for
the other
fixing the
person's
coffee
doing.
pot, because I didn't have the patience or the time. Yeah.
Let's go back to work for a second, because you mentioned things can change if, say, the mom decides to stay home full-time or maybe work part-time from home, and that can affect your relationship too.
Right, because you don't want to have to ask someone for money, especially because you know, you've probably been independent financially before marriage, and so you really have to, you know, make agreements on some discretionary spending. You shouldn't have to answer for every penny. On the other hand, you have to understand the spouse who's making the money feels a little bit crazy if they think that you're out spending it on things they don't need.
So what do you do?
It's just all about communication again, setting up a budget, sticking to it, being honest with each other, but also being able to splurge now and again without being hard on each other for that. If you need your daily coffee and he wants to buy some DVDs, whatever, it's all fine. You have to give each other a little room.
Right.
But you can't try to hide big purchases from each other.
No. You can't cover that up. You got to talk about it.
And you got to talk about the expenses of the baby. You have to be honest about how much everything's costing.
Okay. You get home from the hospital with the baby, you're exhausted, you're not really thinking about romance or sex, but if you don't think about it, you know, after 6 weeks or so, it could become an issue if you're not
Usually your doctor will
time.
say, you're not supposed to have sex during those first 6 weeks because you're healing, but after that you're free to go, and you might be like, I'm not really ready yet. But sort of like, you know, you got to get back on the program. This is the thing. Women communicate through words, and men communicate through the physicality. Right. You know, they really feel connected to you when they're physically, you know, intimate. So just like it would be uncomfortable if you sat across from your husband and he didn't speak to you, it's uncomfortable when he climbs into bed and you're like, don't touch me, like, that's not cool. Once you've set a sort of routine for intimacy, it becomes something you look forward to. It becomes how you guys get back together as a couple, which is so important because you know, eventually your kid's gonna leave and you still want that spouse with you, right?
Exactly. And
like you guys are in for the long haul, so take care of each other and take care of the relationship.
And the bottom line is, this is a special time. It's a joyous time. You have to remember that.
And trying to keep a sense of humor above it all, which can be hard when you get mired in the day-to-day. But sometimes if you step back and find a way to laugh about it, it can become, you know, eventually it's going to be a thing that really bonds you. Look what we went through together.
It's a struggle, but it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
All right, Jessica, thank you so much. And for more, you can pick up a copy of American Baby Magazine. Thank you so much for watching Parents TV. See you next time.